Well, welcome back to another installment of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse Resurrection. We should call it Resurrection because we're still trying to push the magazine. We still have issue 2 in stock, and it's been selling well. But I had to go back to some really strange shit the other day. You know, all these animal attack movies that, you know, were all over the place, like Grizzly and Day of the Animals and Jaws and Stanley and shit like that. Well, one did slip through the cracks. It did. In 1959, there was a film produced by Herman Cohen called The Black Zoo, and starred a completely over-the-top, psychotic, sleazy Michael Gough, who, fans will remember, became Alfred the Butler in Batman movies. Here he is head of a cult that worships animals. And they got lions and tigers and gorillas and stuff like that. But he is being asked to sell out to this real estate developer who he really doesn't like. So he goes and visits the guy with a lion in tow, and the lion kills him. And there's a couple other murders involving the lions. And he has this handyman, a mute kid named Carl, and his wife that basically goes along with this stuff for a while until she realizes how fucked up this guy is. And let's see, there's a zoo attendant named Joe, played by Elijah Cook Jr., who got mauled by a tiger, who insists on fucking with this tiger, Baron, and gets his arm mauled again, so he shoots the tiger dead, and Michael punishes him by having Carl throw him into the cage with a lion, and he's torn apart. Then there's an agent who was played by Virginia Gray, who got his wife a deal in a circus with her performing chimps, and he goes and visits her and leaves a gorilla in her garage, which kills her. The gorilla is played by George Barrows, who owned the gorilla suit. So it all gets really weird and creepy because the cops can't figure this out, and one of the lead cops is played by Edward Platt, who went on to be, I think, the chief in Get Smart or something like that. But anyway, there's a big confrontation with his wife because his wife wants to leave, and she knows that he had something to do with the murder. So he's basically trying to kill her, and he admits that Carl is his son. And he had Carl's mother killed right in front of him by a lioness because, quote, "no woman ever leaves me alive." Well, Carl snaps out of it, has a flashback, and basically strangles Michael in front of his raging animals. This is a twisted little psychosexual deal because Michael goes complete horn dog at times with women around. And oddly, this damn thing was booked as for a kiddie matinee, and that's where I saw it. God, trying to think. But there was another film that was even more twisted. Actually, no, Black Zoo was 1963. It was preceded by Horrors of the Black Museum in 1959. And this is another one where Michael Gough plays a crippled up writer named Bancroft, who was very interested in writing murder mysteries, and basically creates his own shit. Now, this again was released. We saw this as a kiddie matinee with the prequel, the Hypno Vista thing, which was taken out, I guess, for a while for TV release. Weirdly enough, the TV release, because I saw it on a late night thing too after a while, was in black and white. Well, somebody in my class must have seen this damn film because I knew about the binocular scene, because it opens up with this woman gets a gift of binoculars and puts them up, and when she adjusts them, 2 huge spikes go through her eyes, and she's standing there and the blood's pouring out. Kitty matinee shit. Well, there's other murders with a knife, a pair of ice tongs, a body dissolved in a vat of acid, and again, he has an assistant that's totally devoted to him. There's actually a scene where he puts a guillotine in a woman's bed, too, and chops her head off. And the assistant is given a drug which makes him go crazy and kill people, and then it ends up on top of a Ferris wheel where he basically yells, I did what you told me, I did what you told me, and he's, you know, the guy's going, shoot him, and he dives and kills him. Again, two really, you know, strange, you know, British-starred films with Michael Gough, because from what I understand, Herman Cohen wanted Vincent Price, but he was too expensive, so he used Gough. He also used Gough in Conga, which I'll cover a bit later. But while we're on sleazy subject matter, check this out. Grindhouse Resurrection contributor Rocky Calavito has written this book called Creative Control. And the back says, you learn your lines until we have victims ready. Well, this covers sort of the porn industry in California, and a director is killed by an accident on set. Or was it an accident? It seems that there's this cult director who supposedly died in a fire, but he has a cult that sort of is doing scenes from his films, and his films were real close to snuff. In fact, some of them were snuff because there's missing persons involved. The book has great character development by the two main characters who are porn stars that are sort of scared that something wicked is coming their way, and a couple detectives who were scumbags in the beginning but slowly wrap their heads around this whole thing. And Rocky has thrown in some great homages there. There's a homage to Bronson's Canyon, the Span Ranch, and of course Al Adamson. So this can be bought. It's only $10. Available from DocClancy.com, home of Tales from the Lodge and Caveman Magazine, this is basically the Caveman Adventure Library, if you can see that there. And like I say, you can contact Rocky directly on Facebook if you want a signed copy from him. But I was sort of like, I said last week about all the fucking yard work I was doing, and it was like 80 degrees, pushing close to 90 at some points. Well, now it's down to the fucking 40s. So yesterday I was loath to go outside, and I just sat down, twisted one up, and read this book, and I thought it was one of the coolest things I've read in a long time. So by all means, check it out, and we'll have more for you down the road as far as good reading material goes, because I always like to put over fellow authors that, put out some really good stuff. And this stuff is definitely in our mode, the Grindhouse mode. So again, check out Rocky's stuff. So that's our show for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. I'm not going out today. It's too fucking cold, so we'll catch you on the flip side. Oh, and another thing too. I forgot. Got a lot of comments on the Slapshot video and me mooning the camera, and no, I'm not going to do it again, because once it's funny, maybe down the road it might be funny again, but it's sort of like blading and wrestling. You do it once, it makes some sense. You do it every match, it doesn't make any sense. So I won't do it, but I do thank a lot of people for commenting on my butt and the couple marriage proposals I did get. So it seems that videos with the dogs in them and my butt are big rating things, so I'll keep that in mind. So again, catch you on the flip side.